What's got me really hyped about this conversation specifically today is running along the Gold Coast today. Where did we go from to?
So we went from Broadbeach to Burleigh Heads and back.
Lovely route. Really enjoyed it. And along the way, it was just so cool to me to see everybody up early, getting after it, walking their dogs, having a coffee, socialising, running, not headphones, running in groups, enjoying it, getting involved and doing something. There's a clear commitment being shown, and there's a clear foundation of habits that underpins all that. And that, to me, is why I get so frustrated with triathletes that are so in their box about X, or CrossFitters that are so in their box about Y, and why the friction between them is only raising the entry point for the people that might not necessarily be there yet. And the more people that can be involved in fitness in a general term and experience the value it can give you on a long-term basis, the better we are as a species, which is a big claim. But nonetheless, seeing people in that sort of microcosm petri dish that is the Gold Coast today, bringing that to life, because there isn't that where I'm from. You don't really have that in such a high concentration in any one area in any part of the UK, unless you're in a gym or at a running track.
Wow.
So for me, that was really stark this morning to see, which is why having this conversation is so interesting, because I see the value in the range of fitness disciplines. No one is inherently better than the other. And I think a lot of sports would learn a lot from the sports that they often find themselves bashing heads with.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's where I think the sort of discussion we've just had is really the crux of, well, my opinion, and by the sounds of things, yours, in terms of where CrossFit could be I mean, it will consider itself, I'm sure you consider it, the leader in this space, but I think it could be doing a lot more long term.
Yeah.
And I hope that it does for the general population in terms of reducing the entry point to the self-development that is habitual commitment to fitness.
Well, that's the other thing, that it could go in the opposite direction in terms of skill acquisition, because if you consider that I've grown up in a space where we are exposed to athletics and soccer and football and rugby league and volleyball and everything that you can possibly get your hands on, then you take that and you refine it and refine it and refine it, and then you say, you're going to go do this swimming event, and then you're going to go do this Olympic lifting event, and you're going to go do this, entry-level gymnastics thing, and you're going to get very, very good at CrossFit, but you don't have that...
Don't drop your phone. You won't catch it.
Yeah, raw athletic ability that you get from playing netball or playing rugby, that you just have to do to understand.
It's the kinetic learning, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's, like you said, to be able to look at something visually and then replicate it. That's where skateboarding, for me, translated to snowboarding.
Yeah.
Where snowboarding then translated to skiing, because I could look at skiers and understand how they were moving and just go, oh,
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
Off we go. And that's what I credit that ability to, a very wide-ranging skill acquisition as a young age. Thankful to my parents for exposing me to so many different sports.
100%.
But you are right. It could be the flip side. If the world becomes CrossFit HQ, if CrossFit HQ penetrates the White House, then we could have a very, very jacked, competent, athletic nation that couldn't catch a ball.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing I'm thinking about. And I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, or whether it's going to be refined only to CrossFit as a sport. But then a part of CrossFit in general, back in the day, this was so talked about, and I think it's lost. It gets brought up every few years. Is okay. You need to have your nutrition on point. You need to be looking after your lifestyle. Then you need to be focusing on aerobic ability. That was the next one. So metabolic conditioning in some way, shape, or form, and whether you we don't really consider 20-minute WODs an endurance event at all in our frame of mind.
James, let's not go down this rabbit hole. I feel like any CrossFitters watching will already hate me, so apologies. just to clarify, I have an enormous amount of respect for it. I just really enjoy this discussion because as I've said, entry point here. I'd love it to be here.
But I feel like, and I can't remember, and everyone's going to crush me for this, I can't remember where playing sport comes back into that pyramid, but it is in the pyramid somewhere. But I feel like get out and play. And this is what Matt, my other business partner, talks about so much. We just want to get out and play with as many different things as we possibly can. Getting out and playing and exposing yourself to things that make you think a little more, gain you a little bit more experience in something, get you to meet and socialize and network with other areas, and not just people, but environments and settings and stimulus like catching and throwing and swimming and jumping off a bridge. I don't know, like jumping into water, something like that. Those types of going out and playing in general in what we have here on the Gold Coast, getting out and immersing yourself in as many different things as possible is just going to enlighten you just a little bit more on what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. And if you just refine yourself to this small box and this small path, then you're limiting yourself to a certain space. And maybe you love that. Maybe you do love that, but it's just keep an open mind and you might find something that really fires you up. For me, adding in those types of elements, which I loved as a kid, I didn't come, and this is something because I owned my gym for 10 years and I'd have people walk into the gym at 24 years old and say to me, I want to go to the CrossFit Games. I was like, great, that's such a good goal. Awesome. Well, let's get through the first class and then let's see how you feel about everything. And it's like, what is your sporting background? Nothing. Because you never played netball, you never did basketball, you never did little athletics, you never swam. No. Just, it just looks awesome. And I, do my fitness class at the gym. You're missing out on 15. It's not just that year of training that gets you to the games or gets you to nationals, or the 2 years of training that gets you to the games and nationals. It's the 15 years built as a kid, learning all these skills and learning how to move your body in space and adapting, and then watching someone do something and replicating it very close and quickly. Like, you don't have 12 months to get a muscle up. You have 2 weeks to get a muscle up, and then you have 1 month to get 10 muscle ups strung together. That's kind of at the point where you need it. And like you were saying earlier, we're going through a phase where people are coming out of collegiate sport, coming out of university sport, coming out of ex-professional sport, and then working their way into CrossFit, and they're getting only so far. And, that's the top of the game. Now you're getting people that are jumping into junior sport, and their junior sport is CrossFit. How good are they going to get? Are they going to be running 430 miles and, powerlifting total 650 or 700 kilos? That's probably where they're looking at going when you find an absolute freak of nature that adapts really well and has a good mindset for it and can handle the workload.